To the Buccaneers Observer. This is Ralph Phillips. Football is here. Had a football game last night. Felt good. Man, did it feel good to watch some football. I tell you, it's one thing to watch preseason football. Yeah, we've had fun with that for the past month. Here at the Buccaneers Observer, doing the live streams. We've had the All-22 and everything. And it's fun to watch that stuff. But, man, there is nothing like real live regular season football. Man, it felt so good to watch that stuff. Just the impacts, the intensity. These guys are out there. They're playing for millions of dollars. And, they're wanting to, get Hall of Fame stuff and get stats and fantasy football and everything. It's just so different. As soon as that kickoff was happening, you could just see the energy, on the field. That was good stuff. Good stuff. We are going to talk about the game last night, and we're also going to talk about the game coming up. Hey, Danny K, what's up? We're going to talk about the Buccaneers playing the Vikings. What's up, Nate? Good to see you, man. Sorry I missed you guys yesterday. We were just talking about how good it was to watch football last night. Man, did that feel good. You get a chance to see the game, Nate? It was just, I don't know. I forget every year. It's like I hibernate when the chat is, or the when the season ends. I go in like a hibernation. It's like I slow down, my brain doesn't work and everything. But man, as soon as the NFL season starts, I just get and seeing the energy on the field, and seeing these guys play real live football that mattered was just, I don't know, it was just thrilling. Watched the whole game. He said Donovan Smith got him with a hold on the fourth quarter when it got it. I know. Oh, I couldn't wait to talk to you guys about that. Man, I tell you, well, he hasn't changed. Let's put it that way. He started off the game. Me and Molly were watching, and he just grabbed the guy, one of the defensive ends, just threw him down. Playing very aggressive, but then, what's up, Clack? But then he started getting, I can't tell you how many times I saw where he got beat, and he turned around, and he watched the quarterback running around for his life or getting sacked, and he's just standing there watching. I've probably got 100 clips of Donovan Smith doing that, especially with Jameis Winston. He would just watch the play unfold. And once he gets beat, he doesn't try to look for work. He doesn't try to get the guy off of you or whatever. He'll just stand there and watch what happens to the quarterback. It's like he's now a fan, a spectator, and he did that last night at least 4 times I saw where Donovan Smith, he got beat or something happened and he just ended up turning around and watching the quarterback run for his life or get sacked. Boy, don't miss those days. Do not miss those days. Donovan Smith, for the first, up until 2020 when we won the Super Bowl, did not like Donovan Smith. And of course, me and Molly have Danny K says, couldn't happen to a better team. That's right. Me and Molly have this policy where we don't talk bad about Buccaneer players. We hold them accountable, but we don't call for them to be fired or cut or anything like that. The same thing with coaches. We just feel like it's just too much negativity. We want the sports to be fun, and also, we leave that for the fans of other teams. Let them be pessimistic and all that good stuff. We just want to be positive and be a positive boost to the Buccaneers. But Donovan Smith was a guy I really did not like. As far as a player, just his performance on the field. There's just way too many instances where he just slacked off. And like I said, if he got beat, that was it. He figured his job was over. He would just turn around and sit there and stare and watch the quarterback run around, running for his life, or get sacked or whatever, or the running back. And Donovan Smith would just stand there and watch it happen. He never, ever looked for work, ever. So, seeing him do that last night with the Chiefs, I was kind of like, well, that's exactly Donovan Smith. I wanted to go to the forums and stuff and see what the Kansas City fans were saying, because I bet they are kind of pissed. Both of their tackles, they played okay up to a point, and then they both started panicking, it seemed like, and had some crucial penalties. Donovan Smith, they get a fourth, or it was like a 3rd and 20, and they converted it, but then Donovan Smith got called for a false start or hold or something. It was right in the fourth quarter too. It was just like, man, that's Donovan Smith. He's gonna let you down when it counts. So, but he played really well in 2020 when we went to the Super Bowl. Protecting Tom Brady is a lot different than protecting Jameis Winston, because Jameis Winston would scramble out of the pocket. Donovan Smith wouldn't know it. And that happens to offensive linemen all the time. You got these scrambling quarterbacks. You don't know where they're at. And you got to get the angle to protect the quarterback. And if he's over here and you think he's over here, you can't block the guy correctly. So, Patrick Mahomes is definitely a scrambling quarterback. So Donovan Smith is just going to have a horrible season, I think. I think last night was just a premiere as to how bad. You watch, Kansas City fans are going to be calling for his head. So I wasn't too upset when we got rid of him. Especially last season was just horrible. He looked like a guy who did not care. They did not want to be playing football. He definitely didn't want to be playing with the Buccaneers. And he was just doing things intentionally to, either hurt the team / get penalties. I mean, he was intentionally getting penalties. I saw it happen quite a bit. So, the Kansas City Chiefs, welcome to Donovan Smith world. His penalty in the fourth quarter, he was ready to do a choke slam on the guy he was blocking. Yeah, it was a totally uncalled for penalty. Yeah, that's right. I remember he grabbed the guy by the neck right in front of the refs, too. And the guy, puts up his hands. That's what they do when they're getting held. And the ref could see that all day long. Yes, Kansas City definitely looked different without Kelsey. And Jones, and I would say the Lions looked really good, I thought, especially their running back. What was his name? Number 26. Oh, my goodness. Jahmyr Gibbs. I really liked him. But the Lions played well, I thought. But I think that if Kansas City would have had Kelsey and Jones, those two are worth at least a point. I think Kansas City would have won. There was those receivers for Kansas City. Oh, my gosh, they were dropping balls left and right. I mean, how many times did they have 3rd and 22? Mahomes scrambles out, throws it to a receiver, it bounces right off his hand. I was frustrated for Patrick Mahomes for that. Tanny K said Donovan Smith didn't want to be the offensive lineman that got the goat killed. Yeah, exactly. He played. Donovan Smith, that's the thing. When Donovan Smith wants to play, he can play. I mean, he's a big, strong dude, and he's a bully. If you're smaller than him, he will dominate you all day long. It's like Brian Burns. He used to with Carolina. He got the best of Burns all the time. But then you get those bigger pass rushers, and Donovan Smith had tough times with him. But I've seen Donovan Smith battle with guys. I mean, big time, strong battles. When Donovan Smith wants to play, he can play good. But most of the time, he just seems like he's out there just collecting his paycheck. Oh, Watson from the Buccaneers. He was out there catching passes. I'll be damned. I didn't even notice that. Hutchinson was a stud last night for Detroit. Their front seven is pretty stout. Yeah, I was impressed with Detroit. Just their whole overall teams. Kind of like how it was with the Jets. I think it was like 2 years ago. I was just really impressed with their solid foundation. They tackled well, they blocked well, they just did everything basic. They did really well, and to me, that's a sign of a good up and coming team. I heard that the Lions, their tickets are sold out for the first time in like forever. basically. But it's like really hard to get tickets to go to a Lions game. And there was a lot of Lions fans at Kansas City last night. I've never seen that many Lions fans anywhere. I think the Detroit fan base feels like they've really got something going there. They're excited. That Hutchinson was definitely a stud last night. He looked so small going up against, what was that guy's name, Juwan? The right tackle. He looked so small going up against him, man. What's up, Al? Mr. Bundy? Hola. ¿Qué pasa? To be real, Kansas City just had too many drops. Yeah, they did. They had a lot of drops. It drops at crucial times, too. It was really, really bad. Yeah, with the Detroit fans, at the end when Detroit was kneeling the ball, I mean, the crowd was just loud cheering. I was like, how many Detroit fans are there? And then they showed like behind the visiting team's bench, and it was I don't know, I'd say 7 rows up. It was just packed. It was all Detroit. I was like, man, that's quite impressive. That is taking your fans on the road right there. Good traveling fandom, which I don't know if I've ever seen Detroit do that before. Craziness. But yeah, I liked that Lions running back, Jahmyr Gibbs. He's second behind Montgomery, right? He's the second string number 2 guy. Montgomery they got from Chicago, if I recall correctly. Yeah, David Montgomery is their number 1 guy, which he ran well too. But that Jahmyr Gibbs, I really liked him. Hope he stays healthy. He's got that running style where it looks like every time he runs, he's going to get hurt. But man, it just felt so good to watch football last night. I don't know. It just hit me. It was like the opening kickoff. You just saw the intensity, and these guys. The crowd was loud. Man, that crowd was loud. Kansas City crowd's always loud, but like I said at the beginning of the show here, we've been watching preseason for a month now, and that's kind of what we're used to. And then all of a sudden, it's kickoff on the regular season, and these guys are out there hitting for real, and they are playing hard. This counts. They're out there playing for millions now. Before they were playing to get a job. Now these guys are playing for millions. And you're just like, wow, it's such a big difference. Big difference between preseason and regular season. It's the same way. Big difference between the regular season and the playoffs. I say it all the time. Me and Molly talk about it. When you get to the playoffs, that's a whole different beast, man. Teams are different in the playoffs. They play different. They're you got to step it up. I mean, you got to crank it up because there's guys out there that they're playing like this is the last day they're going to be alive. When it comes to the playoffs, man, things just get weird. Teams do weird stuff. Coaches call weird stuff. So all kinds of craziness going on. But it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. And I'm not going to lie, I was happy to see Detroit win, even though they're an NFC team, more of a competition for us in the NFC than the Chiefs are. And I like the Chiefs, especially since we beat them in the Super Bowl. I kind of feel a little compassion for them, I guess. But, hey, it was a good game. It was entertainment, So I'm very, very happy about it. Very, very thrilled. Man, I'm so excited about Sunday. I am so excited about Sunday. I can't even. I mean, I'm like vibrating. It's like since last night, I've just been like, oh my gosh, we're gonna see the Bucs play Sunday, and we're gonna win. We're gonna win. We are gonna beat the Vikings. And I'm excited to see Rachaad White. That's probably the most excited player I am to watch. And we got a lot of new guys, and we got a lot of guys in different positions and everything. But I think Rachaad White, and just to seeing the way he was running in that preseason game 3, I was like, man, this guy, And I had watched some videos on him about, his college career and him coming up. And he's had to fight and struggle his whole career. I mean, most of these guys have, but Rachaad White more so than most. And he looks like, now that he's got a chance to be the number one running back, and, they've got this new system, which is much more running back dependent. I think he is bound and determined to carve his name into stone. That's the way he was running that I saw. And I'm excited to watch him run. I think he knows that Todd Bowles is basically, and Canales are putting this team on his shoulder. Because Todd Bowles wants a running game that can, march down the field slowly, eat away the clock, tire out the opposing defense, give our defense breaks, and we're going to depend on the run a lot. And I think Rachaad White is definitely taking it. Like I said, I drafted the guy. So I'm excited to watch him play. I'm excited to watch Baker Mayfield play too. Especially watching Patrick Mahomes out there running around, acting all goofy and crazy and throwing crazy passes. I was like, hey, we've got a quarterback like that now. maybe not quite as Patrick Mahomesy, but he's definitely a more versatile quarterback than we've had, than we were used to. Okay, let me catch up with chat here. I've been running my mouth. Just had too many drops. Let me see. This is, I say, the best time to steal a game is the first month of football. Yes. No team is where they will be later in the year. Yes, Clack. Very true. I feel the same way in fantasy football. I don't mind losing the first week because I like to get that top waiver wire spot. So, because usually in the first few weeks, you start to see who the breakout players are going to want to be. So, losing the first few weeks doesn't really bother me, but you do get such an advantage if you can win those first few weeks because everybody's still building their team and figuring out who's going to be what. So, it's kind of a catch-22 with fantasy football, or, it's good either way. If you win, you get the win in the win column, you get the mark in the win column. But if you lose, you also get that high waiver wire position to pick up the guys who you see are breaking out. So, but it's not like that in the NFL, man. You get those first few weeks, you get those surprise wins pop off. And then, as teams adjust throughout the year, you go, we got wins. We stole some from you. Yeah, White did look good last year catching balls out of the backfield. He looked really good at Seattle, or when we played Seattle in Germany. I think that was kind of his coming out party, I thought. And I thought that we were going to use him a lot more. But he did something that, I think my thought last year with our running game, I said this many times on the podcast, from what I was watching, the runners changed how they were running. I think Todd Bowles said, okay, I want you guys to run where you're supposed to run, and I want you to hit the defenders. Don't try to avoid defenders. I want you to run into them, make them tackle you, knock the wind out of them. And because I saw all of our running backs we played would hit the holes, and they wouldn't try to avoid tacklers. They would run at them and try and run them over, or just knock the wind out of them. And they all did that. Rachaad White did it. Fournette did it. And they did this all year long, except in the Seattle game, Rachaad White started avoiding guys more so. And I think that Todd Bowles kind of didn't like that. He was like, but I thought they were going to play Rachaad White more, and they ended up not. So I think they were kind of like, no, we told you, run in the hole and run over guys. Not go out there and try and get yards. So that's my speculation as to what happened last year. Let me see. Al says, before I forget, I wanted to tell you this, but you didn't do a live show 2 times this week, and I forgot on Wednesday show. I told you Thielen was only a wide receiver 32 years old, but I only read that from top 100 list. I expanded it to top 200 wide receiver list, and I saw that 4 wide receivers in total who are 32 years old and older. So we got Thielen, Randall Cobb, Marquise Goodwin, and Marvin Jones. Sorry for the misinformation. Al, you're fired. I can't believe that. It's depending on you. You're my data guy. Just kidding. Randall Cobb, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Did he go to the Jets with Aaron Rodgers? I know one of his receivers did. Yeah, it seems like, Randall Cobb's old, right? So he's definitely, let me see, who we got? Garrett Wilson. Oh, it was a Lazard. Alan Lizard. Lazard. Oh, Randall Cobb did too. Dang. And they got Randall Cobb behind Hardman on the depth chart. Ugh. Yeesh. Wonder how happy he is about that. Okay. Double says, hey, what's up, Double? Double says, I'm worried about the defense more than the offense. I feel like they are counting too much on JTS. Man, I hope not. I hope not. You know, I didn't see a lot of improvement. Well, I can't say that. I did see improvement from him and Logan Hall in that preseason week 3. I was really impressed with everybody in that preseason week 3 game. Both Tryon and Logan Hall both had good plays in that game. But yeah, if they depend on JTS, just from what he showed on the field last year, then we're in trouble. But Shaq's back, and he looked up to form. I mean, didn't look like he skipped a beat. And Shaq's a beast. And Devin White is going to play lights out this year. I'm telling you what, Devin White is going to chew through concrete. He's playing for that $100 million contract. I don't know if he'll get it from anybody, but he's going to make bank if he plays well. If he plays well. And I think he's going to play extremely well. Don't do it, Baker. Get rid of the ball. See how Sean Tucker fits. Yeah, Keyshawn Vaughn didn't show up to practice. What was it, Wednesday? And then he shows up yesterday. And from what I could tell, they didn't make any big deal about it. It was just kind of like, and I had said that Todd Bowles is going to have to explain it to the fans, if nothing else. You got to show that you have got control of this situation, that you got control of the players. You can't just have guys just, I'm not going to practice today. I don't want to practice. You can't have that. And, if Todd Bowles doesn't do anything to him, as far as I know, nothing happened. I'm checking Twitter right now just to see. Oh, Kadarius Toney's expected to miss 6 to 9 weeks with a broken hand. Oh. He was placed on injured reserve. Al, wasn't that the guy you said to grab in fantasy football? So what's up with Mike Evans? And no signs to sign. The Bucs have no plans to sign wide receiver Mike Evans to an extension at this time. The deadline, Evans gave them a pass tomorrow if they don't reach a deal. It appears this is his last season with the team. Damn. Ah, man, no way. No way. All right, what was I looking for? There's like too much work here. I am looking for the not Cody Mock, Keyshawn Vaughn. If they gave him any explained anything or okay. I'm not seeing anything. This week one streak. So the Chiefs' loss last night ended the longest week one win streak in the NFL. They'd won 8 straight. So the longest opener's win streak is now 4 people tied, or 4 teams. The Saints, Chargers, and Seahawks. No, they both have 4 years they won the first season. Longest week one winless streak is Colts at 9. They haven't won opening game in 9 years. They had a tie last year. Falcons are next with 5. Man. That's horrible. All right, let me get back to chat. See what you guys are saying. Clack says that explains Tony because his hands weren't working yesterday. Dang, that's funny. Yes. Right, Double. Yeah, that's the thing about the preseason. We talked about that through all the preseason games, is how, it's really weird, because we got the 3 preseason games now, and none of the teams have figured out exactly how they're going to do it. Because it used to, it was you played your starters in week 3, and you played them for about a half the game. Both teams would, so you could get a sense as to how good your starters were going to be. But this year is like you had some teams were playing starters at one point and going up against third string defenses, and that's how we ended up doing it. In preseason week 3, we had our starters going up against their second stringers, and it was just like, you can't really judge. But what I did like was not the performance so much, but the effort that our guys were showing. We looked smooth, we looked in sync, and everybody was playing hard. So that's what we were excited about. Double says Vaughn was upset he got demoted. It tells me Vaughn may be gone soon. Bowles seems like such a horrible head coach. Much better defensive coordinator. Yeah, that seems to be a consensus we have, that I love him as a defensive coordinator. Can't figure out half the stuff he does, but as a head coach, it just seems like it's lacking. I'm not to say he's not a good guy. I'm not to say he's not a good strategist and all that, but he doesn't seem to have that people skills thing you have to be a good head coach. He's probably got the smarts, he's got the know-how, he's got the pedigree, but it just doesn't seem to be able to get the guys working right. Last year was an embarrassment. It's just, when you had the players we have, you got Tom Brady, and Todd Bowles gave Tom Brady his first losing season since he's been in the NFL, and that was a decision that Todd Bowles made. That week 17 or week 18 Atlanta game, didn't play the stars. Like, no, you do not want to be the coach that gave Tom Brady his first losing season. And then it would have been different if we would have gone and won in the playoffs, but we go into the playoffs and just get slaughtered by Dallas. So it was like, why even sit your starters in week 17 or week 18? Because it didn't help in the playoffs. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of Todd Bowles as a head coach, but I'm hoping he proves me wrong this year. And he's got to do something, say something about that Vaughn incident. Every comment on Buck's Instagram post are fans saying, "Pay Mike." Yeah. I agree with it, man. Agree with it. We got to keep Mike. Al says, our defense is pretty good, not great because of our offense and poor time of possession. So we should be fine on our defense this year, since it is more or less the same with the exception of Shaq. And Shaq will add 10 sacks this year. The only unknown is Cansey against the run. Overall, our D should be the same as last year or better. I'm hoping it's better, Al. Our defense took a step back last year, I felt, in the moral. Moral's not even the word for it. The cohesion aspect. They just didn't play well together last year. If the whole team seemed really down and depressed. The whole team seemed like they were going through a divorce. I felt like So I'm hoping this year the defense is back to form. Let me see. Yeah, Tony was the guy I said. He did horrible last night. I'm going to keep him for a few more weeks to see if he gels more with Patrick Mahomes. He's on my team's bench. Hot seat. Tony's on injured reserve? He's going to be out for eight weeks. Broke his hand last night. I think that's what I just said. Double. Who do you think Goldston played so long into the preseason games? Was it to get himself in shape for getting into camp so late? Seems like a vet shouldn't have been in games that late in preseason. Yeah, we talked about that. It did seem very strange to me. And I was very surprised that he didn't do a lot better than he should have. This is Goldston. He's a 10-year vet. He was going up against second and third stringers, with Baltimore. He should have been dominating those guys, or at least popping off some decent plays here and there. And he was kind of so I think, yeah, they were getting him in football shape. And I don't think he came into camp bad, but it's just, working out, whether you're working out alone or you're working out with a trainer or something, it's totally different than working out with your teammates. They just push you a lot harder and you get more, you can go further and all that good stuff. So I don't know. I was actually surprised that they put Logan Hall as the starter. We've talked about this ad nauseum, but for Goldston to again be a backup to everybody, he's been a backup for 10 years, except was it last year when he started when everybody else was hurt? I was really shocked that they had him out there so long and he didn't do better than he should have. So I think it was a good idea they kept him out there because I think they were like, you need to, this is showing why you're a backup. You're at second, third string level because you're playing like that. You're playing at these guys' level. Yes, MH. Hey, what's up? Cody Mock has back spasms, so he might miss the opener. But I'm like, what? Where? This is your first NFL game. You better get out there. I want to see him play. I want to see him play in a live game. He did okay during the preseason, but like I said, it's different things. He definitely didn't show me the aggression that we saw in college, and I was hoping that he was saving that for the regular season. But looks like we might have to wait to see him too. Let me see. Clack says, Bowles turns it around this year. He holding a royal flush in hand. Wouldn't that be nice? It would be so nice if we're all completely wrong about Todd Bowles. He ends up being this great genius coach and, build some unity amongst the team that's unbreakable. That'd be awesome. Clack says, we'll get some contact. Yeah. Al says Mock won't play. The rule is if you don't practice or do practice on Friday, then it'll be the same on Sunday. Mock didn't practice on Friday. I had the injury report up. Now, the other day, the Minnesota Vikings only had one player. Now they got three. Marcus Davenport has got an ankle issue. He's questionable. He had limited participation today. But then they put Troy Dye and Ryan Wright on, and they're both full participation. Dye's got an elbow issue. Wright's got an ankle issue. Wright's a punter. Dye's a linebacker. So, they're fine injury-wise. This is the final injury report. Kalijah Cansey, calf injury, did not participate Wednesday, limited participation Thursday, full participation Friday. But his designation is questionable. I think he'll get some snaps maybe because he participated Friday. But he ain't going to play a whole lot. I mean, the guy hasn't practiced for a month.